You know,
Mhm.
I'm someone we only met once, but well, that's a great example. Whatever I told you, oh, I'll invite you when we do the Can You Hear Me screening or whatever, I'll be here, don't worry, contact me. I always keep my word. So the problem with that is that I'm a very truthful person, which helped me get where I wanted. But today, um, my position is just like, unfortunately, forces me to try to blend a little bit, my interviews and me as a person. Um, that sucks. I would love to say to give you all the dirt of our industry, but as of
Mhm.
today, I mean, there's no other uh, owner and CEO of film studio in the US that is privately owned. That's it. I'm the last one. I'm one of the oldest one. I've synchronized 26 years. And so, when you are starting, as you know, you are in your with Velvet Noir, and in all the other endeavors that you're doing, and you're hustling and you're going there, you know it better than anyone, and you make sure that you are aware of this and that in order to push through, right? And then you will see it arriving for you. There's one moment, but you don't realize it. Other people make you realize, like it becomes constant, where you're gonna turn around and say, "Oh, okay, so that's what I built," and "Oh, okay, that's where I am." And so this change happened lately, about like 2 years ago, really, that I realized that my word had a lot of impact. I said something to the press. I took a movie where there was a um, bid battle to get it between a certain studio, very famous one of the big ones, and us. And we got the rights. And then I told to Deadline, or I don't know, to Hollywood Reporter, stupidly, being Alex, yeah, it's normal. Those guys are fucking Weather Channel. We are here and we are the true independent. We don't go bankrupt every 2 years. And
Oh
so,
my God.
yeah, oh my God, exactly. So then, straight up, I'm watching a football game. I'm getting an email from Deadline. The guy say, "Yo, really, oh damn, I thought we was they are
Oh
really
God, it
pissed.
don't.
They want a right to answer. I have to publish them." They started saying, "Wow, nah, nah, nah." So that's when I say, "Okay, chill, Alex. Yeah, you're too strict for your position." So I'm going to try, Aya, to answer like with the most clarity as possible, also for your audience, which is not necessarily, filmmakers or or else. And here I am. I'm yours.
I will not be asking you anything provocative. Don't worry.
Okay.
This is just general about you as a person.
Okay.
We aim to bring people to the audience to let people discover talents like you are, or somebody who is not like super mainstream and like super popular.
I hear you. All
Everybody,
right.
everybody knows like Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie, but not many people pay attention to impactful, talented people such as you are.
Thank you. I appreciate. Not many people pay attention that Brad Pitt needs have to work sometime with my company if he wants the movie to be distributed, right? So
Mhm.
yes, I understand.
We can start with something simple, such as well, you can tell us about your background, where you're from, and how you got into the film industry.
Yeah, so I'm from Paris in France,
Oh,
and
yes.
yeah, I'm born there and I grew up there in the city. And in 2000, I was looking to get out of the fashion field where I was working for a few years. to something completely different. I was looking at what could I do, and I heard about like this new amazing thing that was a DVD that was arriving all around the world in 2000, replacing the VHS tapes and stuff. And I said, okay, this is cute. Um, I want to be a wholesaler and, sell to stores because that's
Mhm.
what I always, in the fashion world, we were never retail, we're always representing creators. So that's how my expertise, I felt, would be good to work corporate. And I went to all of the studio, Disney, Universal, Sony, and all of them, and they laugh at me. I was 20. They say, like, who are you? We don't have time for the ones that answer. Most of them didn't answer. So I was searching for another solution. I didn't plan disrupting Europe, but I did it. But I was just searching for a solution to make my business go. So I went to the US, which was a little bit more advanced than Europe in DVDs.
Mhm.
And I found there a distributor and I bought movies directly from them, DVDs in the US, and I had them shipped in Paris. And, I started calling the stores and say, hey, I have this and that. And, it works really well. I sold everything so fast. I order more. I say, okay, you know what? I found my rhythm. What I was not realizing is that I was buying my films in the US. I was the only one. What I did not understood completely is that in the US, the film come 6 months to a year before Europe. So I was not
Oh.
realizing what I was overselling so fast because DVDs have French, they have Spanish,
Mhm.
they have the languages. So I was selling and selling. And then pretty fast, I realized people told me, your movies are not even in cinema here. That's why you sell them. So I say, okay, that's a little strange, but I'm buying them for an official distributor in Miami. I have an invoice. It's not bootleg, I don't care.
Mhm.
Until one mass merchant called me, a big French mass merchant, like the French Best Buy, and told me, hey, what are you doing? We hear about you, like everywhere. You have this, you have that. Is this true? I say, yeah. And they say, can you order like 20,000 DVDs? So me, I was buying, like starting 20-year-old, I started with maybe $20,000. That's like, I don't know, 1,000 DVDs. So I get 1,000 DVDs from the US. I sell them, get the money, tack, buy a little more, da da da. And then those guys come and I'm making the calculation in my head, $15 a DVD, 20,000 times two movies that they wanted. It's 40,000. That's a lot. So I went to the bank to borrow the money to invest. They all laugh at me. They told me, you're 20. That's the story of my life, by the way. Until today, I'm not 20, but people think I'm a tourist. I've been in the US for 22 years, and because of my accent, and I think you told it to me, you say, oh, so you live in France? Or you live in Europe? So, no, bro, I've been here more than you. Anyway, so I've always had to overcome, and this is something that's interesting maybe for your audience, because we all have different, we look different, we speak different, we start poor, we start too rich, there's a lot, everything is a struggle, no matter where you come from, you have to create yourself. And so that's kind of mine, I started really young in the film industry, like building something that was not retail, that was really corporate, and that you don't see people like me in this world, and you see people with a suit and with a tie, um, and that come from big schools. And so I didn't go to university, I started working at 14 years old. Um, and so by 20, I had like a lot of experience already in the world of wholesalers. And so I adapted my model to the DVD world. But then this thing happened. I went to a family member. They trusted me, fronted me the money. So here I am buying from a company called AMC, no, Alliance Entertainment in Miami. They used to be there. They're not here anymore. Like two movies, one called The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio, and one called A Perfect Storm with George Clooney. One is from Fox and one is from Warner Brothers. And so I'm buying them, I'm paying cash. I'm getting this big shipment. I had room to put all those DVDs. We had to push the desk and stuff. I had a tiny office. Okay. I'm preparing everything, doing the invoice, delivering this mass merchant on the Champs-Élysées, which is the biggest avenue in the world, where all the Champs-Élysées in Paris. And those guys make a huge promotion of the two movies while the cinema right in front is placing the posters of those two movies coming out in cinema. And they're going on TV and making an advertising saying, buy the beach 1999, which is basically two cinema tickets at the time. And they oversell. And they call me after 2 days, say, we have nothing. Can you get us more? And I tell them, bro, like you pay me in 30 days, so I'm gonna have to wait for you to cash the money. Second of all, because corporate never pay cash, mass merchants, they don't, they always give you terms. So I say that's number one. Number two, how did you sold everything? That's a lot of DVDs. And then that created havoc higher because Fox realized that their box office tank, they all complained. The police went to Fnac and say, "Oh, what are you doing? You're selling bootleg?" No, it's real ones. They came to me, the studio came to me, the press came to me, everybody would talk about it. And I was 20, and I think I handled it good because I told the press, well, this is not bootleg, this is Warner US, this is Fox US, like figure it out. And second of all, I told the studio, okay, now you open my accounts like I wanted, and then I will stop doing this. They begged me to stop, all of them. Even Disney did not open nobody's account. They wanted to sell to stores directly. Even then, gave me a wholesaler account. So here I am. Um, one of the 6 official distributors of the studio in the country, still bringing stuff. And they are really pissed until um, European Union made a law because of me
Mhm.
that when a film comes into cinema, you have to wait 6 months to sell the home video. And so when they did it, I complied, but I started bringing series because series started to be popular. Prison Break, Desperate Housewives. So the law says cinema. Well, there's no cinema for the series. So what I became smart like this and say, okay, there's a loophole here. So um, I became very popular. This mixed by the fact that I was the only wholesaler inside of Paris. They were all in CDs or outside because it cost less. And so that occurred the fact that when we would receive the new release, I would beat everybody on the time because we had a delivery on scooter. I would call Amazon, I would call the website, everybody that sells DVD and say, okay, I have Spider-Man. I have it in stock now. You can have it today and ship it today. So while the other had to use FedEx to ship their orders, I had motorcycles and guys running to clients. So I started beating everybody. I came up really on an industry with people that were all dinosaurs from the VHS world. And I came with
Mhm.
a really 2.0, 20-year-old arrogant at the most behavior. And that was the first aspect that made us number one distributor of DVD in Europe. And the second aspect was that I wanted to make sure that we had everything, all the impossible to find, a Scarface, US edition 40-year anniversary collector because we understood that it was an item that, was sold sometime with a statue, with a book, a Lord of
With
the
some
Ring.
merchandise.
Your audience loves horror. So one of the most cultissime horror movies called Evil Dead. Everybody knows this film. And Evil Dead had in the US a latex DVD edition that looks like the face of Evil Dead with the eye and all the wrinkles in brown. And it was beautiful. It was a piece of art. So this, for example, there was not out in France, but I knew by this point I had a network not only in US, but in UK and Belgium and Canada. And so um, this also became the reason why Amazon, that was just starting, selling in France, was our client. It's because Amazon loves to have everything. So the buyer, Pascal of France Amazon, would ask me, do you have more tin box metal of this movie? And so we had. And I would tell him, okay, if I'm giving you 5 bucks, because there's 500 in the world, you have to order 1,000 of this 1,000. So I grew, and it was not logic on many aspects. For example, it was not logic for the IRS like how this 21-year-old kid is making this type of money. It was not logic for me because I said, okay, was this easy? Was the industry? Like I came like butter, I like a wrecking ball. I made a scandal and that's it. It was before buzz. So I didn't like a buzz, like someone would buzz because online, for example. And so my ambition told me that I have to move to the US because like this is too easy here. So in 2004, I moved all synchronized. That was 4 years old, the name of my company, to Miami. Um, and I started not being a wholesaler, but being a studio. So I went to the French studios and I
Mhm.
told them, okay, you have a lot of movies that are not published in the US. I want to become the studio of those movies on the right, make my own DVD with my own logo, with my own distribution. And if you don't say yes, I'm going to stop buying from you guys. And I'm the biggest wholesaler in France. So they all say yes. They open their catalog. And I arrived in the US in 2004 and got an immediate reputation because I brought with me Cannes Festival winners. I brought with me movies with Monica Bellucci and Jean Reno and Brigitte Bardot and all those legendary actors because I had access to those catalog. And I started publishing DVDs. So it was not a huge turnout financially because we're in the US in a time that before the audience knew Netflix. So nobody would watch a foreign movie. Unless you're French, you are not going to watch a French movie with subtitles. Today, it's different. But at the time, I get a lot of press and a lot of prestige because my movie were really prestigious. And New York Times and San Francisco Chronicle love those shit. They don't care about Marvel. They want this Mademoiselle, that won all this festival. So I made a specialty at first in this because that was my choice. And then after a couple of years in the US, I started being approached by some local producers. Imagine small producers, they search a list of distributors and I'm on the list. So they say, you know what, let's contact everyone. And I started acquiring um, you English speaking movies. So that started being different because here you go, you can touch everyone. You can touch anyone in the US. So what we do at Synchronized, we are a studio, exactly like Universal is a studio or Disney is a studio. The only difference that makes us be against versus those studios is that we don't have our own TV channels and we don't have our own streaming platform like they do. But for the rest, we are kind of the same. We produce movies and then we mostly acquire movies that other people produce. So today, if you produce a movie, you can't call Netflix or call Amazon and tell them, hey, watch my movie and take it. They will not answer you. You have to go through a distributor. So this distributor, like us, has every month 3 movies, 5 movies on Amazon, on Tubi, on Plex. And he will not only put you in one place, we would put, when we take a movie, we take it to cinemas. That's, I'm giving you the circle. After
Mhm.
that, it goes, you know, for your audience, we call it VOD, video on demand, right? So there is 3 levels of VOD in times. After the cinemas comes the T, what we call TVOD. It's transactional. Anything that you pay for, you rent the movie, you buy the movie. So all of this is called TVOD, transactional. And then after this 90 days of rent or buy, it goes into the streamers that you pay for. They are called SVOD because S goes for subscription. You pay a subscription per month. You don't pay your film. You just watch it as much as you want on Netflix, but you pay per month. So that's subscription. After subscription, it goes into AVOD. That's advertising. So that's, for example, YouTube, that would be Tubi, that would be Peacock, all the ones that you watch, you don't pay a monthly subscription, but you know that when you watch the film, you are going to be stopped by some commercials. So on those commercials, we do 50-50 with the platform. I mean, I'm naming YouTube because yes, there's the players, but real studios like us tend to not put their movies on YouTube. Um, we do have an amazing kids YouTube channel
Mhm.
that where we put prime episode and seasons and everything because we believe in in this platform when the audience can stay a long time, and get used to it. But for the rest, um, in the US, the AVOD market, it's companies like Fawsome, Tubi, Roku and Plex. You have Fandango. So those are all platforms where you can watch movies kind of for free, Samsung TV, etc. So that's the spectrum of the US market. When a producer comes to us, we make sure that his film goes to those windows. And uh, after being here for so many years, just should I remind you that as we being created in 2000, YouTube was created in 2004. So we've been here before those guys. When Netflix started streaming, it was 2009, 2010. They took all of our movies because at the time they didn't have yet the studio. They needed us, the independents, to fill Netflix with content, right? And today they are very big. Today they are very strong. Amazon started, I don't know, maybe 2013, 2014 to stream. So what I mean by that is that we were here before them. And because of that, we were able to develop amazing relations, credibility, but at the same time, the assistant that was at Netflix in 2010 is today head of a big streamer that I will not name to not embarrass him if he sees this, but it's big time. And I had a Zoom not long ago with him, and I told him, yo, Netflix time into yeah, we go a long way. Alex is a boss now. So that also does this. You and me becoming friend now, and Velvet Noir being a massive Fangoria type, organization in 20 years. It will be easy for me to have you review my movies than a newcomer. So that's what I meant. I hope I'm not too long today. Um, we are releasing every year about $100 million worth of budget films every year per year. Today we have expanded Synchronize in an Amazon Prime deal in 18 Latin American countries plus Brazil. We have expanded also in strategic deal with all UK, where we have direct distribution, Australia, New Zealand, and a brand new partnership with Synchronize that is starting in January 2026 is all the Nordics countries. So now our films are in Norway, Denmark. Of course, US stays the most important market. Um, so that's where we are right now. We are very heavily producing. And we are producing amazing movies, big movies. Our biggest one so far is a $27 million budget called Spinning Gold, which is amazing if your audience likes music. It's a true story of one guy that created a music label and founded Kiss, Then he found Diana Ross and George Clinton. And for example, if your audience, I see a rock um, poster behind you. Well, if you want to know the story of Kiss, how these two Jewish kids of Brooklyn got discovered and got pushed, and how they struggled so much. The movie show you I didn't use the story until I produce it, which is what happened generally. Watch Spinning Gold. It just came out in the US, and it's going to be out, in more platforms soon. It's an amazing, amazing movie. We have an amazing cast. Michelle Monaghan from White Lotus, Jason Isaac is a legend, lots of other. And for the music part, we wanted, the Donna Summer, the George Clinton. We wanted a real singer, so we have Jason. Bless you.
Excuse me.
For sure. We have Jason Derulo playing the Isley brother. We have Wiz Khalifa playing George Clinton. Um, we could share with you very soon, if you want, behind the scene of George Clinton, the singer, the legend, teaching Wiz Khalifa how to play George Clinton on screen. So we have hours of this footage. It's very cool. They're singing, they're smoking, they are taking their time. It's for me, not being a writer, not being a director, not being an artist, really interacting with those people for all those decades is just magic. Um, and so, yeah, we are very active. We hope 2026, we are releasing a movie that I really, really wait called FTX with a true story of this bunch of kids and Sam Bankman-Fried, which is now sharing his cell with Didi. They're in the same cell. Sam Bankman-Fried crashed the Bitcoin in 2022, lost $50 billion. So we made the movie. We filmed it here in Miami. We hired a lot of local people. There is a pool party in the movie because they're really rich, so they're doing parties where you will see people that you certainly know, Carlos from Only in Dade, and we since it's local, we brought the people. Sorry, yeah, you're looking at me like this. Sorry, I didn't knew you at the
No,
time
no, no. It's
of filming, but on the next one, I'll be really happy. I don't do a lot in Miami because the city is not film friendly. It's technical, but every production gets 10, 20, 30% of the investment back from the state because you create a lot of jobs, except Miami doesn't do it. It's only one. Florida. Florida is one of the only place in the world that doesn't give tax incentive to filmmaker. Miami gives a mere little small 10%, but it's not really enough to really come here. So that's why you don't see a lot of big filming in Miami. What you see, it's pretty small.
yes. Yes, that's right. Well, we would love to cover and review any of your upcoming movies. That would be an
Yeah.
honor.
Okay, I'll be
That's so
happy to let
exciting.
you know in advance.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Um, I have more questions for you. I
It's
definitely
okay.
do.
My next Zoom, but first of all, I haven't seen you since I've met you, and I really I really liked you. You were fun and smart and everything. So we let's be more in contact. That's first of all. I
We
really
should
liked
be.
your energy when I met you. Like you are really shining in this place. So second of all, I still have a little bit of time. I have a next Zoom cup upcoming, and I'm ready for your questions.
I prepared 10 questions, but okay, the next one would be so you co-produced the director Cougars Inc. with Daniel Richards and Breaking Wind along with the Lionsgate. What does it take to make you committed to the production?
So first of all, those are movies that I produced in 2008 or 9. So since then, I produced about 30 more movies, bigger ones. And what makes me go into a production is the script, 100% the script. So what happened is that generally those filmmakers are coming to me very, very early at the script level, and they're telling me, hey, if you're interested in being the future distributor, can you give us a letter of interest? And then we'll take this letter of interest, take it to your investors, and show them that we have distribution because you have to have distribution on a movie. So they approach me for that. And when the movie is good, I say yes, and I provide them with this letter. They go their way. Most of the time, the movie is made. Sometimes the movie is not made. But sometimes I read scripts and they're amazing. And I'm laughing or I'm crying or I feel all kinds of feeling. And I say, okay, 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 okay. Not only this is important for us to be the distributor, but I also want to produce this movie. So I will call funds, I will call partners, financiers, investors. I will build because making a movie is not only equity investment, cash investment. As I told you, you have a part that is handled by the state. This part can go up to 30% of the budget that they pay. Like Georgia, if you go film in Atlanta and you spend $1 million, they would give you 300,000. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, that's called an incentive. So that's always here and it's very part of it. Then you have a part that's called pre-sale. If I have such a good relation with Amazon Studio, I would call them and say, hey, I'm doing this. And they say, hey, okay, we want it. So I already know that they're committed for an amount. And then what's missing? Well, I'm going to bring investors. The story, um, which doesn't mean that it's an Oscar winner. I always think financially. If I go into a film, it's because I believe that this movie is going to make money. So that's what makes me come um, in a production sometimes.
That makes a lot of sense. A good script always makes the big sale.
Yeah, people are
Um,
tired to see the same horror movie of the girl that's running into the woods and it's the same story. So I like elevated stories.
who would be your dream actor or actress to work with?
Um, we are about to, my dream actor to work with, I think would be Leonardo DiCaprio because he has such like amazing skills. But then it changed every day. Right now we are close to nothing is done, but we are very close to be part of an amazing movie with Sydney Sweeney. I think she's extremely talented in terms of her range um, of acting as well, but she's also young. I like upcoming people. Um, I kind of, brought Jenna Ortega to the big screen. And in my movie that I financed and I produced called Saving Flora, she played the daughter of an actor called David Arquette, which is very famous. He was married with Courtney Cox and he was part of Scream,
Oh,
the
okay,
original
yes,
Scream.
yes.
And so while they were filming, he's playing her dad and the next thing you know, Jenna Ortega is in the new Scream, and then she did Wednesday. So they met
Mhm.
on my set. So I think I'm really, really good in discovering. I don't brag and say names. I say Jenna, but there are others. Um, uh, Talent that will be tomorrow because I sense like you see the focus. Ah, yeah, when you're on set and you see someone arriving, shifting into the character physically, it's crazy. So focus. And then delivering a scene 10 times without a single mistake, with all the emotion, crying, sweating. So that's kind of different. So I would love to discover the next Jenna, the next others that I discovered that I don't want to mention yet, but yeah, that's also um, except Leonardo DiCaprio because of his legacy. I'm really excited about the next thing. That's who I want to work with.
Leonardo has a huge range that I probably haven't seen in anybody else.
That's why
It's
I
insane
agree.
how he just jumps into the character.
It's insane. Yeah,
These days there are a lot of indie filmmakers, and you probably get approached by a lot. And I wanted to ask you, what does it take for an indie filmmaker to really catch your attention? Is there something in the energy, in their vision? I don't
No,
know, maybe the
um,
hunger.
no, yes, they have to. So first of all, I'm giving, I think in January, so very soon, you're welcome to come, masterclass with Filmgate Miami on all of these from script until distribution. And I will have much more time to develop on this. Um, but in a short way, if an indie filmmaker approach us today, it would take just an above, way above average script for us to invest. We are not really at the level anymore of investing into those $500,000 budget. We are
Mhm.
more into the the bigger ones with big stars. And those ones are not really coming from indie filmmaker. You have to package them because they're tens of millions of dollars. But we acquire movies that are finished movies from independent filmmaker, and we love them. We do this all the time. So what would grab my and my acquisition team attention when we acquire a film is that the story is good, that the film is not boring, that they don't make um, sound mistakes. Sometimes independent filmmakers don't have money, so not everybody is wired, and then you will end up hearing a sound of someone speaking at the other room, and then someone speaking here louder, and those sound problem tells me that you are not a pro. Um, and the color correction, there is a level in filmmaking where you have to adjust your whole film within one range of color. And so when I see film where some scenes look like reality TV HD, some other film are really filtered. So that tells me that they are not professional as well. Take care of the technical and take care of your story. Now, the problem, there is two worlds in independence. There is a world of the micro budget where they are going to come to us with literally no cast, people that are unknown, and that's a problem. Now you have independents that come with level of cast with not A-list. That could be Eric Roberts movie, Danny Trejo movie, that you can, you mentioned Dennis Richards, those type of actors that are names, but they are not big stars. So those are still within the financial range of independence. When they have a okay indie budget, when they have like hundreds of thousands and not tens of thousands. A film that is in the tens of thousands most likely will have 99.9% chances to be refused by us. A film that is in the hundreds of thousands would have, I would say, 80% of chance to be refused by us. But that's already a 20% chance. So a film that is above 1 million would have a 50-50 chance. Generally, a film that is above 5 to 10 million, we will take it. The reason is that even if the movie is lacking in one area, we still can piggyback on the cast. So yeah, this movie has, Tom Felton, the blonde guy from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Canyon of the Dead is a bad movie. It's a $13 million movie, but he does have Abigail Breslin, Tom Felton, and so I know that the movie is good, but even if it was not, so I would still acquire it because of the popularity. Tom has 13 million followers on Instagram, so he's going to post about it, and we're going to have like 2 million reactions. So I know that I'm getting somewhere financially because that's my job here. Those filmmakers, they come to me, they put a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, a lot of their family money sometimes into films. My job is to bring them revenue. And so I have to be good. That's why I'm here for so many years.
And I suppose it's really hard to be a filmmaker these days.
It's very hard to be a filmmaker this day because um, a lot of them think they are and they suck. And so they're so sure in their head. Um, it's very hard to be an artist because you're an emotional person. And the problem is that when you're an emotional person and you create art, you get emotionally attached to your art. It's your baby forever. And it's not my baby. It's not my baby. It's a film that I've been hired to distribute and to monetize. So you hear here we have a clash of civilization that's arriving here between a very emotional guy that doesn't understand how Netflix say no and doesn't want to take and like it's gonna go. So that's that I think that's the hardship of filmmakers. They're not businessmen. They work with heart, and it's a hard life.
The artist, yeah, of course. It's hard to see past your passion into what's actually going to produce you money. Um, well, you produced how many movies?
I think by now the one that are cool, I can tell you real fast on IMDb Pro. Um, so I produced um, 36 films.
36.
I have 3 films in productions. I did 5 TV shows. One that's a Netflix original, one that's a Amazon Studio original. So I did in partnership with them, and others that are, our own. So I'm looking to double this in the next 2 years. Um, so let's go. Hit me up with your movie.
What is your what is the movie or TV show that you're the most proud of and
The
why?
next one.
Next one. Okay. We can't really know about it yet, can we?
I'm proud of a lot of them in many aspects. And I'm disappointed in all of them in other aspects. I guess I'm a perfectionist, and the movies that will be my favorite is the movies that will bring an Oscar. Until
Mhm.
then, I'm very happy, very proud that I financed a film with Naomi Watts, Octavia Spencer, Tim Roth, Jenna Ortega, Tom Arnold, all those legendary actors, filmmaker, Wiz Khalifa, singers, and stuff like that. Um, but I don't have a favorite one,
You don't have
honestly.
one. Oh. Well,
Maybe, I would say my first one, I want you to watch it. You're gonna cry laughing. It's in 2008. It was my first ever movie. It's shot in Miami at the time with all the biggest promoters, with all had Prestige Import giving us Lamborghinis and stuff. I had all the club at the time mention and said, opening the door. So it's very funny Miami action movie. We did it with a minimal budget, and it's not great, you know, but it's a fun experience. That was the first time I was producing. It's called
I
The Director.
the director.
You
Okay.
can find it on Tubi for free.
To be for free. Okay.
Tubi is a streamer, a free streamer. You can find it there.
All right. I'll definitely I'll watch it this weekend. I'll let you know what I think. uh I have more questions, but I know your time is limited.
No, I have a 13 minutes for you.
You have 30 minutes. Okay. What trends of storytelling shifts do you see across the whole international TV? And do you think
Um,
it's different to the US market?
no, because the international, it's, let me ask you a question. What is the most popular soft drink worldwide? It's Coca-Cola.
It is.
They eat US. That's why I came. They breathe US. They are influenced by our TV shows and our film, and we give the trends. Now, the trends, that's the real question. Those change drastically. Like we are arriving right now at the end of a trend of Christmas movies. It's a
Hmm.
3 year trend that became whoa. Then we are fully back into the romantic ones. and where they were dead, dead, dead. You could not make a dollar with it. Horror is always a steady one, never moves, it's always high. Action came back really high. And all the drama, animation went down, except big studio ones, you know. So there are trends that are always moving. At some point, romantic are going to be overflowed because a lot of producers did them because it works. So they are going to be back to thrillers. And right now, you know, so those trends are pretty important. We follow them. We try to be on top of them.
Now that you mentioned, there are a lot of Christmas movies these days, more than I
Correct.
can watch.
Yes.
They make them and they all on Netflix.
No, they're everywhere. Lifetime has a ton. We have at least four of them. You know, you go on the streamer, you will find a Christmas section which did not exist 5 years ago.
That's an interesting shift, really, because I don't know how to explain it.
Now it's trend because this is, I will tell you how to explain it. Netflix realized in his algorithm that um, all of his romantic movies have been seen. There's no more to prepare to propose, and the industry is not producing them. So they're gonna ask for more. So the trend is really created by you guys. When the audience like a genre, so this genre we pick it up, we realize that out of all the release of this month, you had this particular, let's say, crypto movie that really overperformed. Okay, and then you see another one crypto movie 2 months after. So you realize that is an under proposed section that was only two in few months and it's performing. So you are going to start producing a lot of them. That's what happened with Christmas movies.
I really thought the industry pushes the trends to the masses.
It also true. The problem is this doesn't work. When you want to be too woke, when you want to be too rigid, when you want to really push the trend too much, um, it doesn't perform in box office and financially. So what's happening is that the industry smells the trend and then push it really, really strong. We smell the Christmas movies, we smelling the romantic movies. We have a lot of them now. Go have a look on the romantic movies from 2015 to 2020. You're gonna find almost none on the small ones. Bless you.
Thanks.
So yes, it's a mix. It's a mix between us and the audience. We try to read the audience and provide the trend accordingly.
I understand. As a creative director myself, I try to look into the trends and produce something that people will like
That's what we do.
with my own twitches.
That's what we do.
If you were to create your company synchronized in 2025, but not 25 years ago, what do you think you would have done differently? Obviously, the times are different, the production is different.
It's very hard. I would need, it's very hard because I will tell you the secret of this industry, it's relation. Do you make it to the door? Do you have to fill a metadata to talk to Netflix, or can you Instagram message the guy because he's been in your friends directly and say, hey, I'm sending you a movie, watch it. Right? It's very, very different. Opening today without a large capital to start, having money to acquire movie, properly market them, properly uh, having the accounts, which you will not have. So what's going to happen? You're going to have to go through with a distributor like me to aggregate your content in order to be on the streamers because you're just starting. So starting and being a studio today, we are just about 12 in the US, and a lot of them are dying. I would say start in the bottom. Don't brag. I don't brag at all. Shut the fuck up. Don't lie. And and give yourself 10, 15 years in order to build your reputation. and your catalog. And because you start today, how many film would you have? Five, two, three. So it's going to take time until you have 100 or 200. So that's the advices that I would give.
You are 100% right. It's much more difficult these days, but I also think because of the competition.
Yes, because the market is closed, but it was as hard when I started. It's exactly the same. You have 12 companies, and in those 12 companies, you have Lionsgate, Neon, Universal, Warner Brothers, now Netflix, etc. So there you have eight that are constantly going bankrupt and being saved by the banks or a new buyer. So you
Mhm.
can't, you can't fight with them because they're not afraid to spend money because guess what? They're all employees, but there's not a real boss. So, and then you have maybe four, five companies like us that are independent, and every year you have 10 different ones that arrive and disappear. And it's not the same. Sometimes the old one disappear. I'm very happy and thanks to God that we're still here and we're growing, but I've seen a lot of friends, competitors just go down.
Oh. You have a little bit of time. I know you. I think you produced the horror movie recently. Do you plan on producing more in that genre?
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah.
I mean, this particular one, Stay Safe, was a very painful experience because of the team that I had around me. That was not, at the level that I wanted them to be. But the film is still really good, and we achieved what we wanted to do. So this particular one was difficult, but I want to do more horror movie. I have them in preparation. Um, I love it. I would love to do one in Miami or in with gators and stuff like that. So that would be fun.
Something swamp related. Well, there's also Dexter. There's always serial killer narrative
Mhm. I
insofar.
can tell you about one movie before I leave that I'm in preparation on a horror movie. It's called Pop Pop, and it's the
Oh,
story of a very famous but washed out American singer, like that's getting in his 50s, and he used to be like really popular, and his agent to boost his career sends him into Korea to do a duet with the biggest K-pop group. And so he arrived and he records a song with them. And they're about to film a music video in an abandoned theme park. And obviously, they're going to start to getting killed one after the other. This guy is panicked. He needs to save someone and he becomes a hero. So it's called Pop Pop because it speaks a lot of K-pop. And we are thinking about filming in Malaysia or maybe in Korea, I'm not sure, but that's where it's going. It's going to be fun.
that's an interesting plot. It's always about somebody in the life crisis and something happens to them, core shaking that changes their future narrative.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
thanks.
I'm looking forward to that. I will not keep you any longer. I know you have another call.
Yeah, I do. Thank you very much. So nice seeing you.
I really
Let's
enjoyed
let's see
it.
each other. We're here. I'm in Miami.
Yes.